Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of light and secret knowledge wherever you may be, you are listening to Points of Light Radio, the podcast dedicated to taking you past the apron and behind the closed doors of lodges everywhere. And here is your host, Stan Miller.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. As I always say, it's great to be back with you here on Points of Light Radio and fellowshipping with you and my guests. In this particular segment of Points of Light Radio, we will be shedding more light on the Guild Companions of the Ark. If you recall recently, I sat down with my buddy Owen Snowden and we discussed the Guild Companions of the Ark. And I said, we're not done with this organization yet. I would like to shed a little more light on it, dig in a little deeper. Owen Snowden knew about it. He was not one of the few organizations he was not a member of. But he did really shed a considerable amount of light on it. Well, my guest today is a gentleman named Mark Rann. And he is a member of the Guild Companions of the Ark, right? And he's here to shed a little more light on this very little known organization, right? Just to give you some brief insight, because I've already covered a lot of this, but the Guild Companions of the Ark started out as an additional or higher order available to members of the Royal Antediluvian Order of Buffaloes. If you recall, I also covered the Royal Antediluvian Order of Buffaloes in my June 6th segment. The Guild Companions of the Ark only survived for about 21 years. Now, they've had a recent revival of sorts of the Guild, or resurgence of the Guild Companions of the Ark. They've recently just started up some Armenias, as they call them. Okay, their lodges are called Armenias. And so far, they're only in the United Kingdom. But one of the things, I'm not going to hide this, that I'm starting to do here on Points of Light Radio is to, like I said, one of the goals, shall we say, of Points of Light Radio is to raise the profile of these organizations and to maybe help in that revival or resurgence of these little known organizations, to bring them back, right? And, we'll see if we can't change some of that in these segments with some of these little small organizations and turn them into big organizations. I mean, right? So why should the Freemasons be the only ones who have the mystique and intrigue? Let's bring some of these other organizations out. So yes, I will allow my guest to shed further light. I'm not going to say anything more here in regards to the Guild Companions of the Ark. But this is always intriguing, right? Investigating these fraternal organizations such as this one. So let's go have Mr. Rann shed some light on the Guild Companions of the Ark. But as I always ask you, are you still searching for the light? Are you still thirsty for knowledge? If so, then just trim your lamp and follow me. Mr. Rann, welcome to
Hello.
Light Radio.
Nice to see you. How you doing?
Oh man, it's summer over here and it's beautiful.
Nice.
So you were a member of the Guild Companions of the Ark.
Yes, I am. I joined in January 22, so I'm very new to it, so I don't know a lot about it. So I've yet to develop within the structure of it.
Okay.
I do have some notes about it, the history of it, if you'd like to hear that.
Sure, please.
Okay. So the early history, like the Knights of the Golden Horn, the Guild Companions of the Ark, started out as an additional or higher order available to the members of the RAOB, which is the Royal Antediluvian Order of Buffaloes. Unlike the KGH, however, which broke away from the RAOB, becoming a sovereign body in its own right, the Guild Companions of the Ark only survived for about 21 years. In keeping with many fraternal societies in the 19th century, the Guild Companions of the Ark, or GCA as they're known, was heavily influenced by Masonic ritual and protocol. Indeed, 3 out of its 5 members were past masters in Masonry, and as such, the constitution of the order was very simple, being instituted for philanthropy purposes, on which it could be called a Masonic basis. As stated earlier, the GCA was formed as a higher degree, although it has always been in reality a distinct organisation from those who had obtained the second degree in the RAOB. So the first meeting of the GCA was held on Wednesday, October the 8th, 1873, at the Coach and Horses opposite Somerset House in the Strand, where it met for some years. The 5 founders were men by the names of Brines, Bullock and Rushton, and Bannister and Oxley. Unfortunately, information about these founders is scarce, owing to many of the records being from Harrogate having been destroyed in a flood. There was only one lodge of the guild. And that was called the Lodge of Armenia, number 1, and it was deemed desirable by the founders to limit its membership. As in all fraternal societies, the guild changed the venue of its meetings over the years, and they met at the Peacock, Maiden Lane, Covent Gardens, and then at the Savoy Palace, Savoy Street in the Strand, and finally at the Portugal Hotel in Fleet Street. During nearly 21 years of existence, a large number of its members joined its ranks. But by 1894, the guild, having fallen into decline, was not in a flourishing condition, and we assume that very shortly afterwards it ceased to exist as a viable organisation. Though some research in libraries and museums and Great Queen Street does have a number of jewels and aprons of the guild that were discovered, which bear a striking similarity to those used by the Royal Ark Mariners in Freemasonry. The jewels have a dove-shaped bar, from which a representation of an all-seeing eye and the Noah's Ark is suspended on a plain rainbow or collar ribbon. The aprons, I don't have an apron, but the aprons have a bordered of a rainbow ribbon, but unlike the Royal Ark Mariner degree, the apron is curved at the bottom and bears an all-seeing eye and Noah's Ark device similar to that of the jewel. Some jewels discovered do have the name on it, but it cannot be. There's no documented proof of the when the guild was reformed after 1894.
Well, yeah, I mean those dates can be very foggy given the history of something like that. Whereas, are you wearing some of that regalia now? Or is that part of your guild regalia there that you're wearing now?
Yes. This is the sash. There's a sash we wear.
Okay.
And then there's the jewel.
Okay. That's interesting. What drew you to the Guild Companions of the Ark? Are you in the Buffaloes, or are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not at all. I was actually invited, but I suppose what drew me into it was my own personal reasons, really. I think people join for all different reasons. Um, I can bore you with a list of my personal reasons if you want.
Well, just give us a few of them. That's all.
Okay. Well, again, it's like with all the rituals that I participate in. I believe that it improves us generally, improves our morality. Maybe we hope.
Are you in any other
Um,
fraternal organizations?
uh, yeah, a few. Yeah, a few.
Which one?
Um,
Which ones?
um, Masonic mainly.
Okay, good. Yeah, okay, that's good.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So it's just seeking further light and knowledge, really,
Okay.
basically, and curiosity.
Yeah, and of course, this would be a natural next step, like you say, very heavily influenced by Freemasonry in its inception. So yeah, I mean, but you say that they're involved in philanthropy. Is that what they do? The Guild Companions of the Ark?
That's right. It was originally formed for that purpose.
It's still doing that?
So I've got a few things written down here. So it's a social group with individual lodges supporting charities.
Okay.
So we do support charities. They were influenced by Freemasonry when they were formed.
Can you see that, by the way? Do you see that influence?
Yes.
Having been a Freemason, you can see where that was.
Yeah, I'm not a member of the Royal Ark Mariners, but yes, I can see similarities.
Yeah, I would figure you could. Yeah.
It wasn't a total shock.
No. Okay. But are women allowed to be part of the Guild Companions of the Ark?
As far as I know, they're not. No.
Okay. That's interesting. Is there a degree system to it?
Yes. There is one degree of admission, and that involves an installation ceremony. So there's just the one degree as far as I know.
Okay. And what lodge do you belong to then with the guild?
So I'm in. I have to check because I forget. I'm a Menial Lodge number 3, which runs from Sheerness in Kent, in England.
Okay. So yeah, how many members do you have?
We have quite a few. I would say
it's good.
Yeah, we have a few. We have a good turnout. It's always well met.
How many people do you need to have in order to be able to hold a meeting? 6 or 7, shall we say?
Yes, I would think you'd need a good, possibly more than that.
Okay.
Yeah. We meet on the 4th Wednesdays of January, May, and September.
Oh, okay, so it's not necessarily monthly.
No.
Okay, and what's the dress code? Is that the dress code you have there? The sash, the suit and tie.
Yeah. You would be given the sash and the jewel. But basically, it varies from lodge to lodge. But ours is smart casual, so
okay.
We're not going to get too upset if you're not dressed in a suit.
What are the dues to belong?
Well, ours are, again, it varies from lodge to lodge, but ours are £52 a year. I think that was approximately what I paid.
Okay, reasonable.
Yeah, it's very reasonable, and yeah, it's very enjoyable, and you have friendship. You have lots of friendship there, it's a lovely place to go and mix with other people of different types of people. It can be as Freemasonry. It's just
what would you say though has led to the reemergence of the guild? Because like you say, it almost died out. What's led to that reemergence, shall we say? You think it's just the desire to kind of recapture some of the history?
So I think I've got some notes here on it. I think it is that personally. So the five founding members met again, and they were members of the KGH and the RAOB and Masonic orders, and they decided so yeah, they met again. It doesn't say when. So basically, they met again to reform the they were discussing the history of the KGH over lunch when the subject of the Guild Companions of the Ark came up in conversation, which is closely linked to the historically to the KGH, and it was resolved that they would together research this now defunct organisation. After much investigation into the Guild's history, it was determined to look into the possibility of reinstituting the order. So basically, as you say, they got together wanting to restart it.
I wanted to keep that together. And it would be a shame for it to completely disappear because it is part of the history, definitely. Absolutely. But are there plans to open any other lodges in other parts of the world or other areas of the UK, even, shall we say?
I do. As I understand, there are many in the UK. I couldn't tell you what they are because I'm not that familiar with them. I don't know about the rest of the world. I'd have to find out for you on that.
It's interesting.
I'm not sure.
But what do you think that the Guild Companions of the Ark has done for you?
It's definitely broadened my my interest in fraternal societies. It's a very enjoyable experience. I would say it was slightly more relaxed, has a relaxed feel to it. I certainly feel quite relaxed there. I feel that, I really enjoy my time spent there, and I feel I'm a better person for having gone there.
Do you find, though, for instance, it's being heavily influenced by Freemasonry? Do you find that it has some of the esoteric knowledge that Freemasonry has, or has some of that been lost, shall we say?
I think it would still be there. I think it's the individual that puts what he wants to put into it, really.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I would say it was all still there, in my opinion.
Has it deepened your Masonic experience, having, like I said, been?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, because I'm not a member of the Royal Ark Mariners degree, and yet I feel that I've got a great insight into that already. Well, I don't even know if I have, but I feel as if I have.
Yeah.
And yet it's not technically connected, is it? It's just it is a separate thing. I've got some images of previous medals worn, but I don't know if you can see them. You probably can't.
Oh, yeah, we can.
They're very similar. They're quite different, actually, but they're very similar to the one I'm wearing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's interesting. And like I said, in your lodge meets when? Your Armenian?
So we meet over in Sheerness on the fourth Wednesdays of January, May, and September.
Okay. So yeah, if anyone's listening and they want to be part of that, that's great. How would someone reach out to your Armenia if they wanted to get involved in the Guild Companions of the Ark?
Well, they can contact me. I think there is a website out there for Guild Companions of the Ark, but I'll be happy to communicate or send their details onwards to show their interest.
Well, Mr. Rann, I appreciate your time today. I appreciate you coming on here and shedding some light on this very interesting organization. And all the best to you and your Armenia, sir.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Mark Rann, brothers and sisters. Wasn't it wonderful having him on here? Like I said, I think I just made another friend here. And, it was great shedding some more light here on the Guild Companions of the Ark. I love the fact that again, this is another good thing. We've had people on Points of Light Radio who've been involved in their fraternal organizations for years and years and years. And we see that, shall we say, veterans experience. But then we have a gentleman like this on here who's kind of new to it. He's exploring it. He's really enjoying it, right? He's seeing we're getting some of that fresh thinking and new ideas that people who are new to an organization, bring. And I think that's great. I love the parallels between the Guild Companions of the Ark and Mark Mariner, Freemasonry, I believe it is what he called it, right? And that was wonderful hearing about that. It really was, really seeing that, right? I said last time we covered it, we're not done with the Guild Companions of the Ark. Well, maybe I can still say that these organizations are always welcome to bring their members on here and shed light on them for us. Always, it's always a pleasure, right? So let's hope we're not done with the Guild Companions of the Ark or any of the fraternal societies that I've covered. But and I like I asked you last time we looked at the Guild Companions of the Ark. Had you ever heard of them? I hadn't until I started. Well, like I said, until I talked to Mr. Snowden about it, right? And until he mentioned it to me. So this is wonderful, right? And we're looking forward to shedding more light, like I keep saying, on these little known organizations, right? Maybe we can help them in their resurgence, these different small organizations, Guild Companions of the Ark, what were, some of the others, like, Knights of the Golden Horn was one of them, and things like that. That's wonderful, right? That's part of what we're trying to do here, is bring about that resurgence, right? And help them re-expand to other parts of the world. But I'm afraid I'll have to leave it there for now. But before I go, I want to remind you that this podcast is available on both YouTube and Spreaker. Please share, like, and subscribe when viewing Points of Light Radio on YouTube. I also, as I always say, I welcome your comments and input. I'm loving the input I'm getting on Points of Light Radio. I love those YouTube comments. Keep them coming and keep leaving feedback on my Facebook page as well. And that Facebook page is facebook.com/Points of Light Radio. My Twitter feed is @PO Light Radio. You can see the link to my Spotify channel, as well as my Points of Light Radio store, where you can go there and buy some Points of Light Radio merch, as well as some other fraternal merchandise. I want to point that out to you, right? But brothers and sisters, I'm sorry to part with you, but I'll be happy when I meet you again. Until we meet again, just remember, just step into the light.